Hi guys, so today is October the 30th. Tomorrow is my birthday. And so today obviously means that it's birthday cake baking time. Cake is actually already in the oven, but I'm going to show you how I did it. This year I've chosen a recipe that I've made a couple of times now by Nigella. And I chose it because, first of all, I'm getting her new book at my table tomorrow for my birthday, which is very, very exciting. I can't wait. And the TV show is back tonight. So it's double Nigella whammy. So to commemorate Nigella, commemorate my birthday, I'm making a recipe from Simply Nigella, and it's her dark and sumptuous chocolate cake. It is the easiest chocolate cake to make in the world ever. You will probably never need to make a different chocolate sponge ever again. You do have to go out and get a couple of different ingredients that perhaps you wouldn't have normally in the house. There's a couple of different types of sugar and some coconut oil in it. But once you have them once, you're ready to make it a couple of times. So let's talk about it. So here is the book in question, Simply Nigella. You can see all my post-its. This is something that I started doing recently with cookbooks. You're never going to want to make all the recipes in a cookbook. You never are, but these I actually do want to make. So that is really flipping good going. I feel like every Nigella book comes with a new chocolate cake that I'm going to make, and this is the chocolate cake in question. It's delightful. Those are the ingredients, and yeah, it's the simplest cake. Look how gorgeous that looks. I'm not going to do the pistachios and rose petals because I don't have them in the house and I don't want to make an expedition for it. But I'm considering making the icing. The reason why I say I'm considering making the icing and not 100% making the icing is because I've made this cake a couple of times now, and once the icing was lovely, the second time the icing went really grainy and I couldn't get it to be smooth. The recipe says to make the icing first, and then by the time the cake is cold enough for the icing to be poured on top of it, the icing is the right consistency. But I found that my cake took longer to cool, and then the icing was too thick and grainy and it would not become smooth again. So the way that I make it is I'm going to make the cake first and then make the icing second. And when it's the right consistency for me and the cake is also cold, I will pour it on. I don't have enough chocolate in the house for the recipe at this point in time, but I'm going to try it anyway. Maybe try and pare the icing recipe down because of the amount of chocolate I have. I only have 100 grams of chocolate and it calls for 150. So a bit of creative maths and should be all good. Okay guys, so here are the ingredients for this stunning cake. We have got 225 grams of plain flour, 1.5 teaspoons of bicarb, half a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of instant espresso powder, and 75 grams of cocoa. Over here we have 300 grams of soft dark brown sugar, but I only had 280, so I put 20 grams of soft light brown sugar in as well. This magical elixir is just 375 ml of hot water, which I put in the 1.5 teaspoons of cider vinegar, and I've added my own spin, which is a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a teaspoon of chocolate extract, and I've whisked that up. And there is the 75 grams of coconut oil. So I'm now just going to combine everything, basically. So just whisk together the dry ingredients. Kind of want to get rid of any lumps. But to be fair, there's so much liquid going into this cake that the lumps are going to be whisked away anyway. So I've added the coconut oil to the water, which was boiled from the kettle, and I'm just going to stir it until the oil melts. This is such an easy cake. So nearly all the oil has melted in now. I have to say, the smell of the coconut is really, really nice. With the vanilla extract, you can no longer smell the vinegar. Woohoo! That tiny little bit won't melt. But you know what? Patience is done now. I think I'm just going to add the sugar. Sugar is in. We're going to stir. It's basically already flipping dissolved. You can see what Nigella means though in the recipe. It's an extremely liquid cake. Look at all this water you're adding. Okay, I'm going to attempt to pour whilst filming. Literally wet into dry. And then stir. I mean, you could use a wooden spoon, I guess. I'm using a whisk because I want to make sure that everything does get incorporated. It's weird actually, because it kind of sounds like you can hear bubbles. It sounds like the flour is sort of dissolving into the liquid a little bit. I'm just going to stir this now with my whisk until the lumps are gone. Don't want lumps. Oh, it smells amazing. I'm not going to be able to film the actual pouring, guys. Basically, this dark liquid is going to go into this 20 centimeter springform tin, which I've just pressed a little paper liner into the bottom, and then it's going in the oven. Okay guys, I am going to now very calmly and glamorously try and get the cake out of the oven whilst filming. Okay, right. Oh, by the way, look at these fantastic mittens. Home sense. Right, here we go. This has been in for 30 minutes. It says in the recipe to check it after 30 minutes. And it should be, stab it with a knife. Yeah, see, look at that. A few crumbs. We are cooked. So this is now going to stay in its tin to get really cool. I'm going to put it on a wire rack so the air can get underneath it as well. But yeah, that's the cake now, just cooling. It's risen quite a lot. I love that crack. Some people are frightened by cracks in cake. I wouldn't be. And when you pour the icing on, you're not going to see it anyway. Happy days. Okay guys, so the icing commences. This is the pared down version. So what this is 40 mils of cold water, 50 grams of butter, 35 grams of soft light sugar, 1 teaspoon of espresso powder, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and 100 grams of dark chocolate. I'm really hoping this works, because if this works, it means I'll only have to buy 1 bar of chocolate to make this icing in the future. It's worth saying here as well that the original recipe calls for coconut butter, which I don't have. And if you wanted to make this cake completely vegan, you would use coconut butter or a vegan margarine, something like that. I am no vegan, so I'm using butter, full on butter. And but that's how lovely this cake is. You don't need to be vegan to enjoy this cake. You can just enjoy it. So let's take this to the stove and let's give it a little heat up, shall we, friends? So we're on a low heat. I'm armed with my trusty mini whisk, and we're just going to bring it to the boil. Okay guys, so the stage is set. We have boiling around the edges, so I'm going to turn the heat off. Everything has dissolved, and I'm going to pour in the chocolate, which I have to be honest, I didn't so much chop, as I just smashed it to smithereens in the packet. The recipe says that you're supposed to cover the chocolate in the liquid, just so it's underwater, and leave it for a minute to melt. It's gone a bit thicker and luscious. Look at that. So you're just going to whisk this now until it's all smooth and combined and beautiful, and then the plan is leave it to one side to get cool enough to pour onto the cooled cake. A bit of an experiment. Don't feel 100% confident with this icing. We shall see. Also, there's no vanilla in it, and whenever I cook with chocolate I put vanilla in, so I feel like it needs it. So we're going to see how this goes.